Well, I told everybody we would see some volatility today, and of course it delivered, and then some. We have been up and down and all over the place. Today has been the roller coaster that just unfortunately will not quit. Now, we've reached some stability kind of in the back part of the day here, and ADA sitting in the mid 75-cent range. But I do want to talk about what actually caused this wild volatility that caused ADA to drop and rise and be all over the place. Something from Jerome Powell that I think caught the market just a little bit off guard. We also need to discuss the crypto report that came out as well. A little mention of ADA or Cardano in there. Not really anything big, but something cool to note nonetheless. And we need to talk about these major capital inflows that are happening right now in the crypto market. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So we did have a pretty sizable wick down as we got into the afternoon. We had actually risen in midday. We were sitting around 77, 78 cents or so, looking pretty good. All things considered, we obviously got our nice spike this morning following the GDP report that came out. You know, people like kicking that uncertainty away regarding the economy, right? That had been a thing that throughout most of 2025 has been kind of this nagging thing in the back of our mind. It's gotten a little more quiet as of late, but this was kind of a big swift kick in the balls to that. So now this is where things got interesting. Obviously, 1 o'clock rolled around Central Standard Time. We got our FOMC meeting conclusion, and lo and behold, they didn't cut rates. Not really surprising. That wasn't really a shock to the market. We had kind of prepared for that. But the sentiment from Jerome Powell following that is really what kind of caused this major drop from basically 77 cents or so down to 73 cents in terms of ADA, which coincidentally is a range that we had talked about potentially getting down to. Now, what caused this uncertainty is there was a little bit of uncertainty thrust into the markets surrounding September's FOMC meeting. And what he was talking about was certain metrics are showing some increasing inflation, not overall, but certain areas that hadn't seen it before. And they're blaming tariffs once again. And they're now saying, oh, because these tariffs have been put in place and they're rising, that, you know, they have to basically watch and wait and see how this goes. And the market is just frankly tired of it. It's the same crap we've been hearing throughout all of 2025, tariffs. And frankly, it hasn't really done anything to inflation. We've looked at the numbers. We're still sitting at 2%. It's not really surprising. So he's just dragging his feet. And I really hope that we don't run into problems in the next, month and a half here in between meetings. That's all I got to say. We better hope for some really good data. Otherwise, markets probably aren't going to like that. All right. So that's what caused this big wick down and spike back up. People actively bought the dip. They're defending price, and that's great. All right. To see this type of conviction here is a good thing. And again, it doesn't mean that we can't come down and retest 73 cents. Definitely don't like seeing that wick down. We're still kind of holding structure here, but this could obviously drag out as we get into the early part of August in terms of our structure. Now, what I will say is we did actually get our crypto report that came out. And it was a lot of what we had been hearing and discussing before. It did lay out some structure surrounding legislation and how they were going to do certain things. For example, there was a little excerpt in here surrounding the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve and the U.S. digital asset stockpile, how this was going to be managed, who was going to be overseeing it. And actually, it came out that there's going to be more surrounding this in the short term. Hopefully that means within the next couple weeks here, but that's something that we have to watch for and we'll discuss as well when that does come up. And I did want to point out that we actually had a little bit of a plug here for Cardano in this report. Let's see if I can find it again. I lost it now. Actually, right somewhere in here. There it is. So you guys can see it sideways, but Cardano did in fact pop up in this report. Didn't really say anything surrounding strategic crypto reserve, didn't say anything surrounding adoption of Cardano tech or anything like that, but pretty cool to see it pop up nonetheless. Now, does this mean that the government is or is not going to adopt Cardano for infrastructure here in the US? Doesn't mean anything yet. We're still at this phase where the government is just dipping their toes into the water when it comes to the adoption of blockchain tech. And frankly, Cardano is really well positioned for this. Obviously, we've had good plugs by Charles Hoskinson as time has progressed. Obviously, he's met with some pretty important people too. So that's something we're going to have to watch as time progresses. Understand that that's not a flip of a switch and it's on. Okay. This is stuff that takes a long time to get put into place. Now, something I did want to talk about is we can you know, people can nag on the charts all they want and, you know, say that it sucks and things are dropping. And guys, I get it, right? I'd rather see just a crap ton of green. I'd rather see this all the time. It would be fantastic. But I will say that right now, don't think that outside money or big players in the space are getting scared. We've talked about whales. We've talked about institutional players. And something I want to show you guys is we have actually seen this capital flowing into the crypto market just continue to skyrocket. So over the last month, it's actually risen from 38.4 billion to 85 billion, and it just keeps rising. You're seeing this capital just keep, this injection of liquidity just keep hitting the market and hitting the market and hitting the market. And understand that not all of this is flowing directly to assets. Some of this, like we talked about, is still sitting on the sidelines. It's waiting for its moment to enter, right? We're still sitting at, 4.2, 4.3% USDT dominance. We're still kind of sitting actually right at this 20-day moving average. I hope this holds. Maybe this is our waterfall, right? But that's what we have to watch for. And a lot of this money is just basically positioning itself. Something else as well. Circle minted 750 million USDC today. That is one of the largest mints they've actually done in a while. Many of these have been like 200 million, 250 million or so. So yes, there's money actively flowing in and trying to accumulate during this time or prepping itself for potentially bigger drops in the market. And we'll have to watch and wait and see if we do in fact get them or not. But that's kind of what's been going on today. We'll see where things head as we get through the rest of the day. I'm hoping for a much better back half of the week, kind of an inverse of what we saw the prior week. But I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. But have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.